Hello, it's Shannon. Today I just wanted to share a little video about playing around with templates. I'm going to have a look at the two new templates I've added to my shop this weekend and just kind of show you some digital basics and some things you might be able to do with those templates, separate to how I designed them originally. So we're going to be looking at this currently template as well as this 30-day challenge template that I've got there, and just sort of doing some kind of fun things with them. So yeah, let's go ahead. And just to begin, I use Photoshop elements for all of my scrapbook designing, for everything. I know a lot of people are using Canva, and a lot of people ask me questions about Canva. I have to say, I just don't use Canva. I had some bad experiences with Canva right at the beginning, and I just didn't go any further with it. I'm an old lady and I get stuck in my ways and I don't like changing. And digital scrapbooking was always Photoshop and Photoshop elements back in the day, and I've just stuck with that. By all means, if you, a lot of people ask me about using my templates in Canva. I just don't know the answer. People have told me different things. I think some people can tweak them and use them different ways in Canva. I'm just not sure, and I'm really sorry. And I know I should be more knowledgeable about it. I just don't have time to learn another program when this one does everything I want. I do have freebie templates in my scrapbook shop, shannonpages.com. So if you ever want to try, just go and take some of the freebies and see how they work. I'm sorry I don't have more info. I just did want to do a shout out to Photoshop Elements though, which is what I use. It's kind of the cheaper version of Photoshop. So Photoshop requires a subscription every month, and Photoshop Elements is just a one-off cost. In Australia, it's between $140, $150, and in the US, I think you can get it around $99, and often on sale as well, so the price can come down. And I just wanted to say I'm using Photoshop Elements 2019, so if you kind of factor that in over the time and the cost, it really is quite cheap, and as I said, a one-off cost, and it does everything that I need. I probably should upgrade soon, but I think while it's talking to your operating system and your computer and it's all working fine, you don't need to upgrade every single year. New features do come, but like I said, I'm still using 2019. I only realized it the other day, so it's fine. So that is just my little plug for Photoshop Elements, and that's what I use for these digital layered templates. Okay, so let's have a look how these templates work. I'm going to use the two new templates that I've put in my shop this weekend for examples. So there's this one currently this month, and then there is this one, which is my 30-day challenge template. So they're the two new ones, and they both kind of have different things that we can look at in terms of how templates work. So let's have a look at our currently one first. Okay, so this is a template I made so that we could get basically a month snapshot into one page. I really love when you can just overview a month or a week or whatever into one page. I think it's just nice and simple. It's less stress, and you don't have to, say a lot of things about it. You just kind of put a few photos, a few captions, and you're done. So this is how a digital scrapbooking template looks when you open it up. You can see along here are all the layers. Now this one's a little bit different. When you see all these crossed out eyes, what I've done for this one is, because I've got the date here and I wanted to include, so let's just take a step back. The title here currently and the Jan 2024 are both simplified, which means they're like a digital stamp. You can't change them, you can't edit them, you can't, swap the letters around or anything like that. They're like that. You can definitely change the color, so fill layer, foreground color, but you can't change it around. The reason why some titles are editable and some are not is really a design factor. So if I really want you to have the title in that particular font at that particular size, I simplify it and you can't change it. If it's just a case of this template needs a title, whatever title you would like, then I always make it in a font like Arial or something where you can change it out to your own. In this case, you can see I really wanted it to fit in these exact boxes, so that's why I've made it that way. And because I wanted to make this, template usable all year long, I've gone ahead and added as hidden layers, that's why these are turned off, all of the months up until December 2024. So to get to those, you just turn January off and then you go and turn February on. And that's what a hidden layer kind of does. It's a very easy way to give you all of those options instead of me giving a separate package of all those date stamps that you would have to drag on each time. It's just a simple way, but it does look a little bit strange with all of those crossed out eyes. That's what they are. To finish off our page using this template, we need to obviously change the text. So all of these journaling spots are editable. That's why they have the T on them. So you can go in and type. This is where I get into trouble when I start typing gobbledygook and then do things where I'm doing like tab Z and closing things by mistake. But anyway, so you just go in and type all of your captions in, and then you want to add your photographs. So to do that, select the one. So I'm selecting this photo mat. These are all photo mats, and that's why they have the word photo on them. Bring up a photograph. I'm going to use this cupcake. It's obviously too large. Use a corner to drag it down. You always want to keep the ratio correct and not have those weird squished up photos. So I've got that. You'll see in my layers palette that cupcake is over the top of, or above the photo space I want it in, which is good. Command Option G clips it in. So clipping it in is basically making the photograph the size and shape of our photo mat. That's what it's doing in the digital world. We can still play around with it, get like that. And there we go. So we would do that for all of our photographs, dragging them in, clipping them in, making our little text here, and then we'd be done. So some of the things, obviously we can recolor this. Let's pick a color, edit, fill layer. Let's go into our colors. Let's just pick a color. Say this yellowy mustardy color. So we could do that. We could leave that or do that the same color. So this color picker lets you pick a color and it puts it into the foreground. So then if we go edit, fill layer, foreground, we've got the exact color. You can also obviously use colors actually out of your photographs. So if we want a more matchy photo, we could take it off that cupcake wrapper, edit, fill layer, foreground color, and then we're there. Probably a little bit bright. And that's how we go ahead and finish our page. There are options to, let's have a look what else we can do with our color. So because our titles are simplified, we can't split them up unless we split them up. So one thing we can do with our simplified text here is break up the letters or break up the word. So if we wanted to do half one color, half another, we can do that. So let's look at the January 2024, for example. I'm going to just make it a bit bigger so we can see. If we go and get this tool, which is called the rectangular marquee tool, and then we just want to do the 2024 in a different color, we go down where we've got to be on that layer. So let's make sure we use our move tool. We're on the January, and you can see it here, we're on the January 2024 layer. Then we take our rectangular marquee and we go just around 2024. Quite carefully because we don't want to get any of that other part in. And then we just say layer, new layer via cut. And what that does, you'll see, is put it on 2 layers. So if I show you here, so 2024 is on its own layer and January is on that. It's like physically cutting a stamp in half. Then you can do whatever you like to the other side. So let's just go back to our black and white here and make our 2024 black. So fill layer, foreground colors black, And then we've got that. So that's a way you can separate. And sometimes I like to do that just for a bit of effect, or you might have a really long title and maybe change one word into a different color. But that's how you do that, by creating its own layer. So let's have a quick another look at this is my finished page. So you can see I didn't really do anything too much to that one. I just kind of put the photos in, put my text in, and changed a color here to kind of match in this orange theme. Some other things you can do. So if you want to not really in the mood for journaling much, you can take all of these journaling spots out. So I'm just turning them off, or you can just delete them. So you can go, you know, delete. But I quite like to turn things off with the eye, because sometimes I regret deleting things and think, oh, I really needed that. So now what we've got left here are these just photo spots, which are perfectly fine like that. You could totally do a page like this, or you could get clever and kind of fill in the gaps. It's a bit like doing a puzzle. I try to get it. Sometimes you've got to be in a little bit closer to be getting them, but up like this. We want to kind of match. You can get your ruler and put ruler lines there. It can get a bit confusing. So this one, for example, let's turn our cake off. We can do that. So we can kind of build it out like a puzzle and turn it into a photo only page. And then we go. So it's perfectly fine to mess around with templates like that. Make them work for you. The other quick thing I will show you, I might show that on the other one actually, because this one, just with all of these extra layers, makes it a little bit messier. But that's a few tips there. So let's open the other template and have a look there at a different template. So this is my 30-day challenge template that's just new to my shop. And I use this to document the 30-day music challenge I just did on Instagram. That's a great thing to document. You could document 30 days of anything you like. You could even just do 30 things. It doesn't have to be consecutive days. You've got 30 different, I mean, this is page 1, so there's 2 pages to this one, both the same, and you have 15 on one, 15 on the other. And you could, you know, document 30 books, 30, anything you like, 30 walks, 30 recipes that you've done, so many different options. And I'll show you some different ways that we can kind of play around with this to make it work. The way that I've done it is this way. I've put, let's get it in there. I've put the song. So this was the prompt. Then I put my song, and then I put a little photograph in. Now, just a quick one on using Google Photographs. You're not supposed to. We know that. They're not our photographs. We don't own them. We don't have permission to use them. But on the other hand, I'm just doing this for me. This is just for my personal scrapbook. And I just think if I couldn't use photographs from the web for movies and TV and any pop culture things, then my scrapbooks would be kind of really empty. I really like to document that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's a personal preference. If I couldn't have pictures of like The Cure in my scrapbooks, I would be really sad. So, make your own choice. When I look for Google images, I always make sure I'm using high-res ones, although this, you know, this is a really tiny photo spot here. So I'll just leave that to you. So if we go back here, it's that same system. So I've done the numbers. So this one is a very complex template. You can see layer upon layer upon layer. I've tried to organize it in a way that's clear. So let's go up to the top here. We've got your title, which is this. This is editable. So in our last one, the title wasn't editable. This one is, because I want you to document whatever you like. I want you to document your own 30-day challenge. I can't say, you know, the 30-day music challenge, because you might want to use it for something else. So this one is editable. That means you can go ahead and change it to 30-day cooking. And remember, this is a 2 pages. So the other side has title there. So you can kind of go across both of them. Choose your own font. I always, as I said, choose a boring Arial, just so everybody, it opens up on everyone's computer. But obviously choose your own, and there we go. So editable there. The numbers are not editable either because I just wanted them in the right position and have it sort of set out nicely. If I had made them editable, it would all kind of move it around depending on what you chose. So these are not editable. If you really hate these numbers, obviously turn them off and pop your own over the top. The captions are editable because that's the thing that's going to change from person to person. So go ahead and change your caption. So when I used this template, what I did was wrote in here the song prompt, then I wrote in my song title, and then I took my photo and I dragged it up onto this little blue photo spot, same as before. Make sure you're above that in the layers palette here, above the blue, and masked it in. And I've just gone along and done that for every single day, and that was nice and simple. So let's have a look at some options if we don't want to do it that way. So I'll just delete that out. So first of all, we could switch the photo, and so these are all their own layers. So you can change any of these colors. If you really don't like this color scheme, I just made the color scheme just for a bit of interest, but also so you could easily find the colors, you know, where you are in this layers palette, being such a complex template. But by all means change them out, and that's why they're on their own layer as well, so you can change them out. So maybe you just want them all black. You can go along and change every one of these to whatever you like. Or you could change every block could be a different color. So that's why these are called a color block. So go ahead and change those out. One of my tips for colors, let's have a look down here, is to go to our old friend Pinterest. If you type in here, color palettes, you get some really good color scheme ideas. So say you really like this one, and you think these are really pretty, drag it down. I just drag things down into the icon for Photoshop Elements, and they pop up open in there. Where are we doing this? I'm going to just get this separate. I'm going to get rid of my version there. Oh, closed everything out. So I want that, and I want this. Let's get rid of our currently. Don't save. Okay. Sorry about that. I've just got such a mess there. I wanted to tidy it all up. So then we can use these colors because we know they work. I'm very big on not having a lot of decisions in my scrapbooking. I just want to get it done sometimes. I don't want to agonize over color, which is why I use the same fonts a lot, because it's just one less decision. So if you can find a color scheme that you just love, bring it in, and you literally use your color picker to take that color, let's say this pink color, and then you will use that to change the color in your template. So you could change all the colors to this. Another quick tip for color, so if you really just wanted it all to be black, you could just go along and merge all these layers and turn the whole thing black at the very end. So that's another option there. Let's get rid of that and go back up to here. So I was talking about different ways you could use this. It doesn't have to be exactly this way. So all of these color blocks, these photo masks, are only named that. They can reverse. So you can use your color block as a photo mat and your photo mat as a color block. So if I wanted to do something where I didn't really need a big caption, so I might move my caption down to here, and then I might want to put a photo. So let's use this meatball photo. So say I'm doing 30 days of cooking, as I've written in here. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm making sure my meatball is over this black color block. I think I'm in the wrong spot. Let's have a look here. There's my meatball there. I'm just going to drag it all the way up in front of that. So I'm doing the same option, Command G, and now I've got that there. And so my caption can be the small area and this part can be the larger area. So there's nothing to say, just because I call it the photo mask here, it doesn't matter. Any of these shapes can be a photo mask. And then, you know, I might want to change this to be the color. And it just does it a different way. And then the final kind of thing, if you take that even one step further, is turn the caption totally off. So say you're doing something like a selfie challenge and you don't really have anything to say about that. You just want to do 30 days of selfies. Take this black layer, press shift and take the photo layer as well. So now you can see they're both selected, your black and your photo, and go merge. And what you're doing is making one big photo mat out of those two shapes. So now if I get this selfie, oh, jeepers, and shrink it down a little bit, we know it's in the right place because it's above that. Bring that in, get it into there, and mask it in. Obviously, numbers and text and things over photos can be problematic, so put it somewhere that works better, you know, maybe down there. So that way, this whole thing is a photo mask and you can just go along and post 30 photos and you don't really have to write anything about them at all if you don't want to. The last thing I wanted to quickly show you is if the templates, I do most of my templates in 8.5 by 11, 8 by 10, 6 by 8 if it works. This one I didn't do in 6 by 8 because it would just be so tiny, and 12 by 12 if it works as well. So the reason I don't always do 6 by 8 or vice versa is because some things are just designed to be small and can't be scaled up, and some things that are, you know, 8 by 10 just can't go to a 6 by 8. It would just start to be ridiculous. So that's why I don't always offer every size. And same reason for the 12 by 12. Sometimes designing for a square is just not the same as designing for these rectangles. So if I've got an 8 by 10 page, it can't always go to a 12 by 12 page. It just doesn't always work. It doesn't translate correctly. So except for those kind of reasons, I do try to cover all of those general sizes. If you do a size that I don't have, so say in this one, I don't have 9 by 12, and I know some people do that. Let's pick a new blank file and we'll create it. I think I have a 9 by 12 saved. I just wanted to show you how to resize things. This won't be perfect, but it works in a pinch. So what you would do is select every single layer over on this one, except the background. I'm not using that. Now I'm going to shift and drag it onto my new 9 by 12. And what you'll see here is it kind of fits, so you can leave it exactly like this, or you could just grab a corner and drag it out a little bit. Make sure you center it up. You can see there's a bit more space top and bottom, but I think that's okay. And now you have, it's just going to kind of blah, blah, blah as it goes, but now you've put it onto the size that you want, and you can just use it now as you would a normal template. So that's how you're resizing. You've really got to go over here and grab every single layer to bring over. It's the best way to do it. I mean, you can do resizing, but I find that sometimes goes a bit strange, or the text might go a bit weird. So this is the easiest way I know how to do that. So I think that's probably enough for today. So let me know if you have any questions or if there's other things we can go over on another video. But that is just a little quick look at playing around with templates and kind of manipulating them, using them, then manipulating them to suit what you want to use them for. So thanks, guys. I'll look forward to talking again soon. Bye.